If I start telling people about hell, I might just scare them off. Where are you going to scare them off to? Hell number 2? Or are you just going to sit there and let them burn?
Hey, this is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. Welcome to the program, Amazing Machinations, Episode 8. You know, they're marketing and normalization of insanity. This is part 2. But before we start, don't forget to check us out on dontletthemburn.com. You might find out some more about me and the ministry on that website. And this is our song, Genetic Apocalypse. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Hurricane 7 channel. These are some places that you could reach us: Spreaker, iTunes, Gab, Parler, BitChute, Getter, Rumble, MeWe, Mind's Truth, and of course, obviously, YouTube. So we also have a locals account. So we're going to start posting there as well. And pretty much that's where you can find us. And I want to give a shout out to Seaside Graphics from Ryan, who printed this poster behind me here. Great job. All right. So welcome, everybody. And we're going to get started. Now, last time we covered a lot of crazy ideas going on out there. People want to marry their laptops. People want to marry cars and all sorts of foolishness. And also, basically, as the show says, the marketing of insanity, hate crime laws, and all sorts of stuff. You need to go back. If you haven't seen that show, you need to go back to the last show to get caught up. Because this time, we're going to see how mankind is storing up wrath for itself. We're going to go to Romans 2:5, but in the context, Paul is talking to the Romans about their hypocrisy as far as judging people and whatnot. And so he gets down here and he says, because of your hard and unrepentant heart, you are storing up wrath against yourself for the day of wrath, when God's righteous judgment will be revealed. So, secondary application, this is what's going on today. We are sticking our finger at God, promoting all sorts of evil, but it emanates from the spiritual realm and then also from our sinful hearts. They go hand in hand with people that are pretty much trying to take down the US and the Western world. And we're going to see how some of these communist countries, or maybe one, I will show you one, how they are pretty much going against what's happening in America. You'll see what I mean in a moment. We'll get there. So I covered a video game last time called Cyberpunk. And I didn't go too much into it because we're going to reserve that for our video game segment. But I didn't show you proof of what I said last time. But no matter what I say, go ahead and look it up and discover for yourself what I'm saying. Even if I show you the article, still go look it up. I know it takes a long time, but it's a good thing to do, especially when I'm not reading the whole article, right? So here is the Cyberpunk article from IGN. And obviously this was last year, February. And it says the ESRB has published its ratings for Cyberpunk, which includes a new bit of information about the game's character, creator. And pretty much players can select a gender and customize their character. Customization include depictions of breasts, buttocks, and genitalia, as well as various sizes and combinations of genitals. All right. Give me a sec here. Players can encounter events where they have the option to engage in sexual activities with other main characters or prostitutes, says the report. These brief sex scenes from a first-person perspective depict partially nude characters moaning suggestively while moving through various positions. Some scenes contain brief depictions of thrusting motions, or scenes depict a character's head moving towards a partner's crotch. Right? So as I said last time, I'm not into that stuff. So I have no desire to play with genitals in my video games. So that's just one of the it's leading our young men, young women, demoralizing them. It's pretty much a pornographic segment of the video game. Okay. Now, as we move, this article came out in 2015. Sorry. And it says Tom DeLay, Justice. He said that the Justice Department wants to legalize 12 perversions. Right? He says we found a secret memo coming out of the Justice Department. They're now going to go after 12 new perversions, things like bestiality, polygamy, having sex with little boys, and making that legal. DeLay said on in that year, 2015. Not only that, but they have a whole list of strategies to go after the churches, the pastors, and any business that try to assert their religious liberties. This is coming, and it's coming like a tidal wave. That's the quote. So, as you see, I told you last time that a lot of this is not new. It's not new at all, and it stretches even further back. This was in the Obama era, and a lot of it, that was some of the genesis, not all, but a lot of this also goes back into the 90s, the 80s, as cable TV ramped up their pro alphabet people programming. And of course, by the mid of the 2000s, here it comes, boom, like a storm, like I said, right? And we're getting just hammered with this stuff. But are we acquiescing to it? Are we just turning on our TVs and watching these programs or whatever? It's everywhere now. So this next one, I'm sure you've seen this. This is this year. Apple unveils pregnant man emoji in new iPhone update. Here's a close-up of it. All right. So with these technocratic platforms, we don't get to make a decision. They make it for us. I noticed back in 2015, 2016, they updated the emojis to include a lot of alternate stuff that we didn't care for, never used, never will use, right? But they have to appease insanity, really. There's no scientific proof that a man can have children, right? But they have to promote this because they also have to promote the trans stuff, right? So they force it on you, even though you don't want it. And all sides are kind of disappointed in this. There's some alphabet people that say we don't need it, and others that say we do. Because of the whole inclusivity aspect of the agenda. And here it goes again, pregnant man, pregnant person, emoji. See, they have to put person because later they want to take out man. You watch and see. They want to get rid of that. They've already done it in certain areas of life. Sorry about that. This thing reloaded on me. Where they want to get rid of man and woman. They want this hybrid of humanity, or the next step, which is pretty much the next human. I talk about this a lot. So there you go again. All right. It says the push to include everyone in pregnancy has erupted in controversy, with some culture commentators arguing that the efforts to make the biological specific phenomenon all inclusive erases factors that make women distinctive from men and even dehumanizes women. That is true. They say Emojipedia faced some criticism when it first announced the pregnant man and pregnant person emoji in September of last year, the company said in a blog post that the new figures may be used for representation by trans men, non-binary people, or women with short hair. Though, of course, use of these emoji is not limited to these groups, right? So this whole last time I told you to define the terms representation, inclusivity, and all these buzzwords that you see flying around nowadays. Always define the terms. As we move, all right, so I know you probably never been to this website, but this is not the only place you'll find this. So pretty much Biden's transgender HHS nominee called Rachel, which that's not the original name, Levine, wants babies to get sex changes without parental consent. Without parental consent, right? So the state, the government, which is very radical at this point, wants to pretty much have control of every part of your life. When I get into Reign of the Tech, which we will do a program soon, you're going to see all sorts of wackiness coming out of the tech industry. And they also want to control every part of your life because Satan wants to use technology to become like God. That's pretty much as simple as I can say it, right? So this is from the Zero Hedge. You have permanently changed them. Rand Paul grills HHS nominee Rachel Devine over parental consent for trans minors, right? You have puberty blockers. You have all this stuff being promoted to young because the young has to be pretty much indoctrinated and coerced into an abnormal lifestyle that goes against God and pretty much dehumanizes them, right? According to the WHO, genital mutilation has been recognized internationally as a violation of human rights. Genital mutilation is considered particularly egregious because as the WHO knows, it is almost always carried out on minors and is a violation of the right of children. That's a quote. Most genital mutilation is not typically performed by force, but as WHO notes, World Health Organization, that by social convention, social norm, the social pressure to conform, to do what others do and have been doing, as well as the need to be accepted socially and the fear of being rejected by the community, American culture is now normalizing the idea that minors can be given hormones to prevent their biological development or their secondary sexual characteristic. So that's Mr. Rand Paul talking. So, and it goes on, but you can check this article out for yourself. This is from Zero Hedge. You have permanently changed them. So we obviously know that this is a plan of Satan. And I can confidently tell you that's the plan. For those of you that already know, you know what I'm talking about. For the people that are not familiar, there is a spiritual world. And you have God's holy angels and you have the fallen angels and demons that are leading humanity down to a path of destruction. And Jesus even said, if he didn't come back when he returns a second time, that we would be wiped out pretty much through wars and all sorts of crazy stuff that we're going to be doing. And, you know, even during God's wrath, he's not going to wipe out humanity, but we would wipe out ourselves. Okay. So the next one here. Oh, all right. So this one's pretty weird. I know you guys have heard of this. Some of you have. Some of you probably haven't. It didn't make national news, I don't think. So they were supposed to be litter boxes for students who identify as furries. If you don't know what a furry is, pretty much people that like to identify as animals or dress up as animals. And sometimes it's just fun and games, and other times they get into some weird sexual stuff. Okay. So here it's pretty much talking about kids that would identify as animals, but this article is saying that the rumors that were going around weren't necessarily true, but I'm going to show you that it's not a new idea in a minute. All right, so um, let's see here. The school board member at the meeting did not respond to Ms. Henson's comments, but her remarks gained traction after Maddock, a chairwoman of the Michigan Republican Party, shared a video of the school board meeting and the comments on Facebook. Now, this is the video here, and there's a link to the video. In fact, I'll put a link to the video here. It was long, so I didn't want to go through the whole thing to go edit and all this stuff, but I'll put it right here so you can check it out for yourself and see what you come up with, right? So basically, they were talking about a litter box being put in school for kids that identify as cats, right? And you will see all over mainstream media that it was debunked and all this stuff, right? But here's an article from 2016. Now, I don't come to this website a lot. I'm not a follower of Michael Brown, but watch this. Within a 48-hour period this week, a federal court ruled that a school could not require children to use the bathroom that corresponds to their biological sex. Target announced it was making all of its bathrooms gender neutral. And in fact, Target lost $10 billion with a B, $10 billion because of this. Right? The school council in England sent out a letter to parents telling them to encourage their 4-year-old children to choose the gender they most identify with before starting school, be it male, female, or something else. Something else. All right. So this is not isolated in America. In the Western world, they're trying to change it. And baseball legend Kurt Schilling was fired by ESPN for sharing an anti-transgender post. If you've been watching Project Veritas, they expose ESPN and the community that's in there how pretty much blatantly racist they are, and not just racist. You see what else is going on there. So all this stuff with inclusivity or whatever, it's pretty much do as we say or you're out. It's supposed to be inclusive, right? So anyway, it said it's high time then that we stand up to this social madness and say enough. Now, it's 2016. He says, as I pointed out last week, that we not only have men who identify as women and vice versa, but we have whites who identify as blacks and human beings who identify as animals, including cats, dogs, parrots, and even mythological dragons. All right. So again, I'm not going to go through the whole article, but you see that the promotion of insanity is high. And I can keep this whole series right here. It can go on forever. So I'm probably going to cap it tonight. But you do have people out there that identify as anything they want, and sometimes they get away with it. If we identified as the unjuked, in Jamaica we said juk, if we identify as that, they have a problem with it. But everything else goes. Whatever. So, now this one, if you're a little squeamish, it's going to be a little graphic. Not like blood or anything. It's going to be graphic. So this guy, he spends $50,000 on over 100 procedures to transform into a genderless alien, and he plans to have his genitals, nipples, and belly button removed next. Right? Many would call this insane, and I would too. And that's what this program is about, right? Most people couldn't even invest $50,000 into anything, right? Except for maybe an automobile. But this young man that you should pray for, he's still alive, has you know, desecrated himself, the body that God gave him, to become whatever, right? And this is not the worst one, by the way. It's what the guy used to look like. Looks like he feminized himself a little bit there, and then wanted to go everywhere else. So again, I would say pray for this guy, because there's a movement to stop people from giving anyone like this any counsel to reverse what they're doing. And there's a lot of people like this that regret what they've done. As you can see, this is the promotion right here. So you know there's something going on in the head there, right? Now this next guy wants to transform himself into a black alien, right? And that's part of this whole transforming of self into something that looks totally demonic, right? There's something going on. I don't know if he's possessed or not, but it's like I did a show one time called Destroying the Image of God. And pretty much that's what this is. I mean, as far as the humanoid, what it is to be human, this is one of the movements towards the next human. This guy probably doesn't even know it, but these body modifications are insane, right? And you can look up this article as well. This is just gross, right? So there's another article with the same person right here. This looks even worse, and I think this is the worst I'm going to show tonight. So man dubbed most modified human cuts off fingers in black alien transformation. All right, the picture coming up is a little frightening, so sorry, but that's as far as he's getting there, you know? I mean, there is nothing regular about him except for everything else that is not modified and tattooed up and looking crazy, right? He also previously had both his ears surgically removed in order to look more extraterrestrial and underwent tongue splitting, it was reported. The Frenchman has traveled far and wide for his various procedures, heading to Spain last year to have his nose surgically removed as the operation is illegal in his native country. He has also had dermal implants put in his face, which gives his skin a bumpier texture and has created chiseled lines across his cheekbones. Just look at this. And the symbol on top of his head there is familiar, but I don't know exactly what it is. I didn't bother looking it up. But that's significant as well. He looks like a spider. That's what he looks like, you know? So you want to pray for this guy too. He's still alive, right? Anthony's documents has transformations on his Telegram account, Black Alien Project, repeatedly shocking his 718,000 followers with the lengths he is willing to go to change his appearance. And what I find out is a lot of people that do this stuff, they're young, so they're gonna hopefully they regret all of this later, unless they go into another kind of psychosis. So I'm just checking out right now what you are saying in the chat there. I'll check it out a bit later. But okay, so that's the human that wants to be the black alien. Right now, going back to a little politics and whatnot, we have this is from the National Pulse. So Fauci, it says here, new Biden nuclear hire is drag queen who wears stilettos to work, discusses sex with animals, and calls NIH chief Daddy Fauci, right? This is the marketing and normalization of insanity. Okay, I might even get struck for this, what I'm saying here, by YouTube. But what in the world You know, and this is not new, by the way. This sort of stuff, the body modifications, um, the weirdness goes way back into paganism, from all over the planet. You could research that, and it takes a lot of time to find this stuff out. But they're trying to normalize it. The fact that you're promoting this stuff in the news article, this is not necessarily there's not necessarily a lot of exposure of this thing like where I'm trying to do. There's people doing it, yes, but as far as the mainstream media goes, no way. They have to normalize it because they're part of the same agenda, and I'm going to explain some of that later. So let's get into this here. All right. So as we saw, a person is into a lot of weird stuff. So let's see. So I guess the National Pulse might be exposed, and this is not necessarily mainstream media. It looks like it's on Stephen Bannon's website. So it says Sam has worn his stilettos to Congress to advise legislators about nuclear policy, and to the White House, where he advised President Obama, ding ding, and Michelle on the alphabet people issues. He shows young men and women everywhere he goes that they can be who they are and give them courage. Once, while he was walking around Disney World in 6-inch stilettos with his boyfriend, a young gay boy saw Sam with his boyfriend and started crying. He told his mother, "It's true, Mom. We can be our own princes now." All right. So here's a few things. Let's see. Falsely widely critiqued for his role in HIV/AIDS crisis in the 80s, with alphabet people activists calling him an important idiot and a murderer. No, that's yeah, right. The right activists were calling him that. So let's see here. Okay, so the new Biden-Harris nuclear official has been involved in LG alphabet people stuff since college. Was interviewed by Metro Weekly about the group, where he emphasizes he is the slutty one. Right. So total debauchery, dehumanization of himself and everyone that believes in this. It says here, I actually have trouble when we transition from pup play to having, sex. Like, no, I can't have you whimper like that when we're having sex because I don't want to mix that world. It's interesting because he doesn't have to come out of pup mode to have, yeah. So I can't read the rest. It's a little vulgar there, but you get the point. This person is into all sorts of stuff, and they're being put in a position of leadership that this shouldn't be, right? So this, make no mistake, this is Marxism, and a way to degenerate our whole society. All right. So that's that. I think I had enough of this article already. You can look that up for yourself and read and whatever. So all right. So now we have this one was a little disturbing, like the rest, but Ohio State University Sex Week event encourages students to thank abortion providers. All right. Let me explain a little bit. So back in the day when you had Molech or Baal, it's in the Bible as well, where they would take their children and put them in the fire. So this is all Molech worship. And I believe these people know it, not the people that they're trying to indoctrinate, but the people behind all this stuff. I believe that in 2021, abortion rates in America was 68 million, something like that. I don't have the article in front of me, but you want to look that up, fact check me, right? It was high. All right. That was just America. So imagine what the world is doing. So, okay. So they want you to thank abortion providers because they want to make it seem like it's just something normal that should happen. And the people that promote this stuff, they were given a chance to live, but they want to take other people's lives. These sociopaths are just out of control. So let's get into this. All right. So Student Advocates for Sexual Health Awareness is hosting the Sex Week But the organization told Fox News Digital that several Ohio State University departments, such as the Ohio State University Department of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies and the College of Social Work, are providing financial support for the week-long event. A spokesperson for Ohio State University said that no taxpayer or tuition dollars are going towards the event. Right? This shouldn't even happen. you know, meet Sasha in the union on the first floor on the help thank abortion providers in Ohio and Texas for the valuable work they do for productive rights, the event description states, right? So it also says we feel that it is important to appreciate the family planning providers that are able to provide essential health care for our communities. All of this is gobbledygook. Find out what they really mean. Okay? Our organization emphasizes the constitutional right to a safe abortion. However, many do not share that belief. You see, no abortion is safe. I'm sorry. Once you do the research and you find out what they mean, what they're trying to prove, you'll see it's all backwards, just like Satan. It says, because of this, many providers and their offices are often ridiculed for providing legal, affordable, safe health care. We feel they deserve appreciation and should be reminded of the fact that they are assisting our communities greatly. Hart said, right? So you want to go and look up this article. There are many people, I believe, reporting on it, but here we go. All right. So that's that one. The next one. All right. So this happened in 2021 in October. All right. So Gavin Newsom signs a bill requiring free tampons in California public schools, including boys' bathrooms. Right? This is the perversion of our men, our young men, right? Because someone somewhere is telling them that what they have rolling around their head because they're confused. Who knows? Maybe they've been touched before as a child. That's very common among people like this. And once you do the research on that as well, you'll see what I'm saying. You look up their testimonies, not just people that feel they're another gender, but people that are alphabet people. Just look up their testimonies, and you'll see that molestation is very common. I'm not saying all, and we can't rule out the sin nature, but it's very common among people like that. So anyway, as we move, I'm going to go back into the article, and it says the bill would enact the menstrual Equity for All Act in 2021. Equity, find out what that means. You're going to hear that buzzword a lot, right? And some mistake equity for equality. It's not the same thing. The reason I'm not telling you the definition is I want you to look it up for yourself. And you'll find out, especially when it comes to assets. I'll give you one. Say, for instance, the universal basic income. That's a part of equity. But everyone will make the same amount of money if the state is allowed to do so. Okay? And there are other versions of this equity. I want you to find out for yourself. All right. So, Equity Act of 2021, which would require a public school to provide, as provided, maintain in any combination of classes from grades 6 to 12, inclusive, there you go again, to stock the school's restrooms with an adequate supply of free menstrual products as defined, available, and accessible free of cost in all women's restrooms and all gender restrooms, and in at least one men's restroom at all times, and to post a designated notice on or before the start of the 2022-2023 school year as prescribed, the bill states. So again, you can look this article up and do your own research. Again, the marketing and normalization of insanity. All right. Some people call it clown world. I call it that too. But the normal mind that's not a reprobate and doesn't have an agenda knows that this is insanity. What really alarms me is the amount of parents that go along with this stuff. Obviously, they're insane too. So we're nearly on the tail end of some of the stuff I want to cover here. And this goes into China. Okay, China. All right, let me go back and set this up a little bit. This is from Paul Joseph Watson's YouTube channel. I didn't have time to go search the videos here. Pretty much, China is building its economy, military, and everything like that to be profitable, engaging, and long-term growth. So that means they have to change some of their policies. And we're going to see as we go how this affects. But what I'm going to show you right now, okay, so there's a video online. I'm not sure if it's in here, but there's one of the Russian military and how strong and manly they are. And if you haven't seen yet, you're going to see what the Biden administration and others before want our military to be. So let's get into this for a second.
The training and build AI killer robots.
我们已经习惯达到。
王军，转内动员大会现在开始。
一声道，是一句承诺。
Oh, this is high enough for you guys.
预防前准备完毕，请指示。好，战。
一声道，是一种割舍。一声道，是一场冲锋。
It begins in California.
Okay, this is ours now. This is our military.
Girl raised by two moms. Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age, eventually standing at the altar to marry my other mom. I'd spent my life around inspiring women.
Silicon Valley has rigged its algorithms to reward young men with.
All right. So I didn't want to show you this whole video. I know the audio was a little low there, but I hope you heard it. And you can search for those videos as well. So video, look up the military video from Russia, military video from China, and go and watch the entire video of our military that's promoted by the CIA, I believe. And this is systemic, right? In our military. So there's a contrast going on with China and us. And it has started a long time ago, but China is not necessarily the root of the problem. You have the Frankfurt School, some of our churches, obviously the academic institutions, they're all working together. Okay. I'm not saying that there's not infighting. There's always infighting when it comes to these evil people. But ultimately, the Frankfurt School, Brookings Institute, and a few others have worked all of these things together. And so we could point to Marxism, but it's also technocracy. And we're at a point now, I don't believe that we're at the point of no return. But it takes 20 years for this to settle in. And it's like 30, 40, maybe even 50 years now. So it's hard to turn around. And what you see in your TV shows and movies, it's all a part of this. And of course, CRT, if you don't know what that is, critical race theory, but we'll get into that in a second. All right, so all right, so China, this is the video that I just showed, declare war on simps. And you might ask yourself, what is a simp? So simply put, the normal definition is pretty much an idiot, silly, foolish person, half-wit, nincompoop, you know. But in these days, the simp is pretty much a person that gives too much. He's soft. He's a beta, He doesn't really, when he's dating a girl, uh, he'll be the one that gets ran over because he's too soft. She'll run right over him, and he just gives too much, too much. And so TikTok and other places, people would talk about the simp nation and all this stuff. That's another. It comes from some of the Japanese, Chinese, in entertainment. Okay, so you're going to see that China is trying to block all of this stuff out, even though they've created some of the technology to have our young men turn into simps. Okay, soften us up, soften up the military, and we have dysfunction. All right, so in this report here, it says, sorry here, my screen is a little wacky, so I can't read. Oh, there we go. Okay. So in January, China's education ministry called for more physical education as an antidote to male feminization, vowing to recruit better gym teachers and introduce fitness-based incentives such as free college education. The response came from a delegate of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. A top political advisory body had suggested that Chinese schoolboys are weak, self-efficating, and timid, and may be unduly influenced by so-called little fresh meats, handsome, well-groomed, delicate-featured celebrities in the vein of K-pop stars. The proposal also described the feminization of Chinese boys as a threat, quote, a threat to the development and survival of our nation. Finally, it says the education ministry does something right, quote, wrote one user on Weibo who claimed to be a teacher. Boys now are in dire need of more exercise so they can be manlier. They're too gentle these days. All right. And we've seen that a lot of physical education has gone out of our education system. I was surprised a few years back. I was like, what? That's crazy. We need to stay fit, and children need to be taught that, right? Because a lot of us are sitting home all day playing video games, or watching pornography or whatever, We're not active as men, not all men, of course, but we're on that slippery slope. So this is another one here. One of the Chinese TikToks, you can't see, they say hoes, twerking or fatties showing off fat because China bans degeneracy. What you can see is hardworking everyday people sharing their life and work accomplishments, very upbeat. We call it positive energy in Mandarin. So what you're getting on TikTok, not everything is degenerate, but they have a different version of TikTok where this is what they see. They don't see all the stuff that we're getting bombarded with because people don't know how to, be decent sometimes. A lot of twerking and just crazy stuff you see. These challenges, some of these challenges, we don't need to be getting involved in all that. We're not getting taught to read, critical thinking, and be decent, even dress decent. We're on this slippery slope, and we've been on it for a long, long time. Right? And so what does China promote now? They promote education drive to make boys more manly, right? Today they're telling boys to be more feminine. They're telling boys to they don't know how to treat a woman, and women are not being taught how to treat men, and we have the highest divorce rate, So these are the things that people are not, because we're so busy and into all of our pleasures, we don't see that our children are getting destroyed. But China does, and that's an advantage to them, right? The next one here, China decrees no sissy men allowed on TV. China's ongoing battle with feminized men has accelerated, with Beijing's recently restricting access to online video games and trying to discourage unhealthy attention towards celebrities after President Xi Jinping called for a national rejuvenation. Now, China's government has banned effeminate men on TV and told broadcasters on Tuesdays to instead promote revolutionary culture across all aspects of Chinese culture, according to the Associated Press, right? And again, you can look this article up for yourself. Basically, we're in trouble. This one here, again, WeChat deletes Chinese university alphabet people accounts in fresh crackdown. You see, everything we're getting bombarded with, they're now getting away from. So when was this? This was July 2021. Hong Kong, July 7th, Chinese tech giant Tencent, who owns WeChat, and also I believe they own TikTok, social media platform, has deleted dozens of alphabet people accounts run by university students, saying some had broken rules on information on the internet, sparking fear of a crackdown on gay content online. Members of several alphabet people groups told Reuters that access to their account was blocked late on Tuesday, and they later discovered that all of their content had been deleted. Many of us, quote, many of us suffered at the same time, said the account manager of one group, who declined to be identified due to the sensitivity of the issue. They censored us without any warning. All of us have been wiped out. And so I'll stop right there. Crackdowns everywhere when it comes to China. Okay. So then we have here, what was this about again? All right. California teacher who removed U.S. flag suggested students pledge allegiance to the pride flag removed from classroom. I should have talked about this one earlier, but I'll inject it here. This has nothing to do with China. This basically was a liberal teacher, and she was on TikTok showing what she did, and pretty much emphasizing how great it was. The California teacher who went viral after bragging in a TikTok video that she had taken down the American flag in her classroom because it made her feel uncomfortable. Oh, too bad. And suggested that her students should say the Pledge of Allegiance to a rainbow flag has been removed from the classroom. And it said that she has been removed from the classroom and placed on administrative leave. As our investigation continues, Newport Mesa School spokesman Annette Franco confirmed. So the state allows these people in there. She wouldn't have been removed if no one said anything. Okay? And we already know Californians went off the deep end. Okay, back to China. So China cracks down on showbiz for polluting society and youth. Right? China ordered broadcasters on Tuesday to shun artists with incorrect political positions. Of course, it's a communist country, so we know if you talk against the state, and effeminate styles, and said a patriotic atmosphere needed to be cultivated, widening a crackdown on its booming entertainment industry. After years of runaway growth in the world's second largest economy, regulators have been trying to strengthen control over Chinese society by tightening oversight over a broad swath of industries ranging from technology to education and culture. This one is from looks like 2021, September 2021. So Communist Party authorities can censor anything they believe violates core socialist values and already have stringent rules on content ranging from video games to movies and music. Right? The latest moves reigning in the entertainment industry came in the wake of a series of celebrity scandals involving tax evasion and sexual assault. Okay, so I'll stop right there. And that's from Routers. So the next one here is from Quartz and China's propaganda journey from only one child is good to the 3-child policy. Pretty much what we're seeing is China building their society on a communist socialist platform, but they're trying to use nationalized Judeo-Christian sort of values, not really, but sort of, while we decline morale into degeneracy, they're building up their men, they're building up their families, right? There's a video that was played back in the mid 2000s. I forgot who made it. I think maybe the Barna Group or somebody like that. And it showed that the family structure around the world was being in decline. Some places in Europe, it was one point something child per family. Others, it was 1.5. But once you get, I think once you pass 2 child, a little less than 2 child per family, then your civilization can't come back from that. But they showed that in the Islamic community, they don't abort. They have 6 kids, 7, 13. And that by 2025, a lot of the globe is going to be filled with those type of families. Because we are 2 children. That's been promoted since I think the 50s, 40s, whatnot. We don't believe in having large families anymore. And America is close to that point of no return. We're not there yet, but we're close. So also with the invasion of the migrants from other countries, do you think they're going to stop having babies? I don't think so. So pretty much, I have some notes over here. I have to keep going back to my notes. With China encouraging their males to be masculine, also promoting physical education, incentives for larger families, they're going to grow. Why? Because they allow us to emasculate and continue degeneracy among the West. We're not being taught anymore, at least in some sections of our country, self-respect, family, faith, stoicism, and patriotism. They're all slowly being stamped out, right? And I heard that BLM, they're pretty much putting things into the school now. Of course, the first thing they put is to get rid of the nuclear family, which is Judeo-Christian family structure, and because they want to bring in everything else. I'm telling you, this is all Marxism. You have to revise history, historical revisionism, and make your own, make everything else in your own image. Let's put it that way, right? So if you stand up and speak to any of these agendas, you're called an ist, a phobe, or an ick. So examples are racist, xenophobic, misogynist, etc. That's the game plan, right? But I want to encourage you not to be afraid. No matter if they call you whatever, just shove it off, because they want you to be afraid, because no one wants to be called that. So you got to keep speaking up, else they're going to win. All right. And of course, God is in control, but we're in the midst of the battle. All right. They pretty much wanted to promote every degenerative lifestyle that's an abomination to the King of Kings, Jesus Christ, right? God made us a certain way. You know, they have those songs, I was born this way. No, I was born in the image of God. And I don't want to change anything. You know, when we get raptured or we finally get to heaven, well, when we get raptured, the rapture is a whole nother story. But at that point, everybody gets a new body. Those that of us that are alive that get raptured, new bodies. The dead in Christ rise first, they get new bodies. Okay. And it's not going to be any of this foolishness. All right. So another part of the insanity that's going on. I don't have a lot of article for what I'm about to say, and I'm going to get into an issue in a minute that is going to exemplify some of the Marxist stuff going on. And in fact, this is just a little piece of a larger program. Okay, so before that, the hate for Israel is real. Okay. And what you're going to find on a lot of these comment sections on whatever video is it's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. But they don't understand what they're talking about, or they think they know what they're talking about, but it's really a uptick in anti-Semitism that's going to lead to the 7-year tribulation, especially when Satan comes down, Revelation 12, and goes after the Jewish people. It's going to be another one of those Hitler things, okay? Also, give me a second here. Cancel culture. We can't be afraid of these people. Again, we can't be afraid of these people. They're people that are behind these computer screens or in their mom's basement or wherever they are, that think they can cancel anyone. And the problem is too many people are apologizing, right? You dig up anybody's history, there's something bad there. And the people that become afraid of this cancel culture are the ones that are still getting taken on even after they apologize. Okay, no matter if what they said was right or wrong, we can't, this is not the way. And in fact, the rest of the world is looking at America like we're crazy with this cancel culture stuff, okay? And that is a part of the insanity that's being promoted through the mainstream media and other places, okay? When the riots were going on, 2020, 2021 a little bit, they could do whatever they want. Antifa and BLM. Why? Because that's the law of Satanism. You let them go, you just let them go and let them do whatever they want because those are our little soldiers, okay? And everyone that talked against that stuff was called what? It's racist, xenophobe, whatever, okay? Again, define the terms. Keep defining the terms. It will go a long way for you, all right? Now, one of the causes for all of this goes straight into the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, where they make up these agendas to promote their sustainability imperatives that a lot of people haven't read, okay? They're going to destroy to rebuild. And it's coming from a Marxist ideology, but also from a Nazi ideology. And who are they calling Nazis? White, right-wing people. And they go call them alt-right or whatever. These are just labels, man. They love to make up labels, right? Also, it's coming from a technocratic view where they don't want the world to be ran by presidents or kings or whatever, but engineers, people like Fauci, all into scientism and whatnot. You want to read the book Technocracy Rising. That's one book for the night. There you go. I got a couple here to show you. But Technocracy Rising, okay? This spans all the way back to the 30s. It went away, then it came back. And now it's being included into the whole globalism apparatus. All right. So another thing that you want to be aware of. I said the first law of Satanism is do what thou wilt. Okay? To do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. Pretty much do what you want. That's being promoted in a lot of programs, TV shows, and movies. Now, I think this is the third law of Satanism, is the law of reversal. What's going on? Why is insanity being pushed? It's the reversal from God's laws, his original plan, to Satan's image, pretty much. I believe I said last week that when we sin, even as Christians, when we sin and we indulge in things that are opposite of God, we're acting out Satan's character. He's insane. He's a father of lies. He's a murderer from the beginning. All these things, right? That we have to think. That's not the nature that God intended for us. So we're born in sin, and once we're saved, we shouldn't be acting like that. Not that you're going to be perfect. Obviously, I'm not perfect, you know. But once we come into the realm of Jesus Christ, he gives us power over sin. We're able to wrestle with the flesh, the old man, so that the old man doesn't come back and stifle your life, right? So I'm going to show you something. Give me a second here. Let me pull up a. I should have pulled this up earlier. All right. I have to go to a. I have to go to a encyclopedia for you. All right. Now, before I do that, I'm going to go into this movie. All right. I mentioned this a couple times in some conferences I spoke at. This is Respect, a movie about Aretha Franklin. I didn't realize how much she was into communist movement, including with Martin Luther King. But that's another story. Please don't get upset with me. I didn't say it, they did, okay? And there's evidence. But anyway, this is not about Martin Luther King. This is about Aretha Franklin. And so in this movie, remember, Marxism, socialism, communism is being pushed on our nation all over the place, okay? This is the beginning of the movie, where the credits roll and everything. The young lady, Aretha Franklin, as a little girl, is walking through the party to go sing for somebody. And this is what she hears. And it's kind of subliminal if you're not paying attention, but just loud enough for you to hear it. So I'm not going to play the movie because I get a strike, but I'll show you this slide. I'll say, communism is absolutely for the Negro. Okay? That I don't have to, it's without saying that this is on purpose, okay? Then it says, how else are we going to have everything we ever wanted? Now, this movie came out last year. It was in theaters, right? And then to promote the other lifestyle, this is a guy talking to another guy you'll see in a second. He says, you the finest looking cat here, right? And then I thought, you're going to think he was talking to a woman, but he's talking to a man. And he says, N-word what? I mean, N-word, I know that. And then he says, what else you got? And they embrace. This is what's being marketed to become normal. Okay? This is how many civilizations went out. Okay? Rome, Greece, not just this, but this is a part of it. Okay? And in fact, in I think it was the 1960s, there was or 40s, there was a communist manifesto or something that was reported to the higher ups in our government. And there was something in there purposely saying that they want to make homosexuality an alternate lifestyle, not an abomination, an alternate lifestyle. So when Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed, it was the men, you can look this up for yourself, read your Bibles, the men, the women, and the children that went into have relations with the angels. Lot was giving his daughter to those people, his virgin daughter, and they refused. They wanted that angel flesh. Okay. And that goes into a lot of different areas, but that's not what we're about tonight. So I just want you to see that the whole Marxist propaganda, again, that what I just showed you is an extension of a larger program. But what I'll do for you tonight, since it's only, it's been a little bit over an hour and I'll continue. I'm going to show you something about what's called the Frankfurt School, which I touched on earlier. I'm just having a little problem with my screen right now. Everything's like hanging over to the left when I need it on the right. Right. So let me see here. All right. Share screen. All right. I'm gonna pick a program here. This thing will work, right? I'm just trying to show you the article instead of my whole video here. Okay, boom. And all right, boom, there we go. All right, allow. And there we are. All right. So this is the Frankfurt School that I've spoke about before. And this is one of the issues in churches and colleges, the whole education system, in many corporations. They're not the only one, but I'm going to show you something. All right, so Frankfurt School group researchers associated with the Institute of Social Research in Frankfurt, Germany, who applied Marxism to a radical interdisciplinary social theory, the Institute for Social Research Institute. You know what? I have a better one. I have a better encyclopedia than this. Please excuse me for a second. The other encyclopedia really goes into deep detail, because there's something being promoted today that lines up with what we see here. It lines up with, it's really bad, man. When you finally find out certain names floating around are not necessarily the ideologies that you think they are. There's something totally different. Let me stop sharing this for a second. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Let me see. Frankfurt School Encyclopedia. I have this on my phone and it's just here we are. Boom, got you. All right, so this one is better. So the Frankfurt School, known more appropriately as critical theory. Let's say that again. The Frankfurt School, known more appropriately as critical theory, all right, is a philosophical and sociological movement spread across many universities around the world. It was originally located at the Institute for Social Research, right? And an attached institute at the Goethe University in Frankfurt, Germany. The institute was founded in 1923 thanks to a donation by Felix Weyl, I think that's how you pronounce it, with their aim of developing Marxist study in Germany. After 1933, the Nazis forced its closure, and the institute was moved to the United States, where it found hospitality at Columbia University in New York. Okay? So critical theory is not just some ideology or critical race theory. It's an institution. All right? The academic influence of the critical method is far-reaching. Some of the key issues and philosophical preoccupations of the school involve the critique of modernity and capitalist society, the definition of social emancipation, as well as the detection of the pathologies of society. Critical theory provides a specific interpretation of Marxist philosophy with regards to some of its central economic and political notions like commodification, reification, fetishization, and critique of mass culture. Some of the most prominent figures of the first generation of critical theories are Max Holmberg and a few others. Since the 1970s, a second generation began with Jürgen Habermas, who, among other merits, contributed to the opening of a dialogue between so-called continental and analytical traditions. I'll stop there. My point for showing you that is that most people they're looking at Illuminati or this or that. It's a whole conglomeration of different things, right? And when we heard about critical race theory, people were like, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" And then President Trump stopped it from flowing easily when he was the president, and when Biden came in, all the gloves were taken off, right? So everything I'm showing you from the last video to this is included into this Frankfurt School and other things, Marxism, socialism, communism. But again, don't miss out on technocracy, because when we go back to Reign of the Tech, I'm going to show you some things that actually coincide with this here. It's very important. And also, I want you to realize, let me look up another thing here. All right. The term capitalist system, we use it fluently now, but it is a Marxist term. All right, let's go in here. Capitalist. Let's share again. I'll share it with you guys. All right, so capitalist, 1791, man of money, one who has large property, employed in business, is from the French, right? But what you're gonna find out, let's see here. Maybe I should look up capitalism. Because it was a pretty much a degrading term when it came to it's just like how Christians were first called Christians in Antioch. It was to degrade us, to make fun of us, to mock us. And so, all right, here we go. Capitalism, political economic system which encourages capitalists, related entries and more. I had all this pulled up earlier, but it shows that it started with Marxism as far as calling us capitalists. Sorry. We're going to use, there it is. I had it right in front of me. All right. So meaning a political economic system which encourages capitalists, and is recorded from 1872, originally used disparagingly by socialists, meaning concentration of capital in the hands of a few, the power of influence of large capital, from 1877, right? So when you hear about them taking private property and you'll own nothing and be happy, they're going against what they call capitalism. And now capitalism is a word that's being used by everyone, but it is a Marxist, socialist, communist word used disparagingly against people in a free market. Okay. And right now, what are you being told? That you can't own anything, Single family homes are going out the window. That's insanity. Okay. So let me see what's going on in the chat here now. Um, uh, yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of us tonight. 33 watching, which is little but a lot for me. So I'm hoping that you guys learned a lot tonight, and that you keep following. Please share this program and promote us however you can through social media and any way you can. We have shirts, we have posters, we have a whole bunch of stuff. We're still working on our documentaries. And I have a big announcement coming soon, very, very soon, actually, that I think will get some of you excited. As far as the alien stuff, um, that's still in the works. The research is still going on, but it's not going to be what you are expecting it to be. I'm coming from another angle. Everyone is doing disclosures and green creatures and all this stuff. I'm going another route. So as you know, my expertise is on entertainment. So I just showed you, yeah. Gladys said the Fabian Society. That's another name, yep. But we're working on that, and what you guys have given, we've got 2 new cameras, and we have most of the equipment we need to do the documentaries, I should say. But yeah, so all of this stuff going on is going right back to the root of socialism, Marxism, communism. I was supposed to give you some books tonight to okay, I'm not done. I've been promoting this book when I'm at when I speak at conferences or preaching at Pastor Billy's church. This is The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow. And the rainbow is a bridge to Lucifer. Okay? It doesn't mean the alphabet people. That's not what it means. And it's promoted by Satanism and New Agers. So if you want to find how elusive and how grand the scale is when it comes to the New Age, you could buy many other books, but this book is written by a lawyer, or ex-lawyer. So she did great research, interviewed people, and I haven't finished reading it yet. I probably read like maybe half or a quarter, and even that was enough to really just convince me of what's going on. So you want to pick that up, The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow. And it says here, the New Age movement and our coming age of barbarism, right? And this was written in the 80s. And we're starting to see an uptick of what's said in this book so many years ago, right? Another one, since we touched Marxism, and right now the term is race relations all over the place, right? First, it's only one race, and it's not a race issue. It's bigger than that. It's an ethnic issue and a issue of the heart and the sinful soul of man. And this one is called Black Rednecks and White Liberals by Thomas Sowell. You want to get that? I'll read some of the back to you. It says, this explosive new book challenges many of the long prevailing assumptions about blacks and Jews, about Germans, about slavery, about education, plainly written, powerfully reasoned, and backed with a startling array of documented facts. Black rednecks and white liberals are not only the trendy intellectuals of our times, but also such historic interpreters of American life as Alex I don't know how to pronounce that, and Frederick Law Olmsted. So anyway, it really breaks apart a lot of the misinformation out there, all the lies, because many people are believing things that never really happened, and they make it seem like America is pretty much invented slavery, but that's not true. So another one, this is by Pastor Billy, is a subliminal seduction, how the mass media memorizes the minds of the masses. This is straight to the point. You're getting fooled by a lot of the media that you're sitting in front of, and they know what they're doing and they're masters of it. Okay, so you want to get that. And there's also a book, the Anatomy of Fascism. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick for you. The Anatomy of Fascism. All right, and images. All right. Let's see, share here. I lost my screen. Share screen, share, and boom. Allow. Okay. So you guys should see that, The Anatomy of Fascism. I listened to the audiobook, pretty good. And I even had my misconceptions of what is going on in this book. This is the cover I have right here. Yeah. You want to, get the book, get the audiobook, whatever. It's a great education. All right. So that's The Anatomy of Fascism. And for the last one, which I haven't finished reading yet, is Game of Gods by Carl Teichert. Game of Gods. And this one, pretty much, it's called The Temple of Man in the Age of Reenchantment. Carl has been on my show maybe 5 times. And so this shows you the growing movement around the planet, not in a scary way, in a very practical way, from United Nations all the way down to Burning Man and Paganicon and all these things, show you how our society is moving towards paganism in a breakneck speed. And so you want to check that book out because I believe it's the only book of its kind. And it's pretty popular amongst people that want to know this stuff. So that's it. So I guess maybe this is the end of my program. Let's see now. Yes, Constant says Constant Combi you can get for free download. Yes, you can. You can. Whoever that if they're still have their books in print, you want to maybe give them a little support, right? I don't think the New Age book is still in print, but you can find it online. This wasn't an ebook when it first came out. This is a long time ago. So yeah, you can find an ebook online. A lot of these books, man, I have a lot of books, but I don't get to read all of them. And that's how I get to do some of the research. You guys ask me, how I know some of this stuff. It's a lot of research, thousands of hours of videos, Bible study, all this stuff, right? So just sharing some information with you. And by the way, I have a book club on Telegram, but it's private. So if you want to join the book club, you message me on Telegram, Chris, don't let them burn, just like you see on the screen there. And if you're serious, you can join. Okay. You don't want to join and be missing for 2 months, but then you get booted. Okay. So if you want, contact me on Telegram. I also have the Telegram channel, a public one and a private one. The public one is where you guys can jump in. Just search for Don't Let Them Burn. You could jump in. Okay. So in fact, this is one of the books that we read, right? And we read another one. I can't remember the name right now, but we're also reading Carl's Teichert book. And like I said, we haven't finished reading that one yet because it's like 600 pages. But if you want to learn, message me. And it's whatever. So yeah, I think that's it for this program. We're going to be coming out more tech shows, more about Hollywood, and you'll see. So thanks for your support. Thanks for joining and keeping the chat alive. All right. See you guys later. And remember, don't let them burn. Preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.